Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp, which is also a Disney Plus exclusive.
Now this classic story is brought to life as the pampered pooch lady falls for the streetwise tramp. However, this version has been slightly updated and gives more spotlight to not only the other canines, but to Jim, Deer, and Darling.
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and multiple pause videos.
Absolutely. This was not what I expected.
Yeah.
It was really cute in the commercials. And the commercials really painted the picture that this movie is just like the animated version, but it isn't.
Yes. Now, to be warned, if you have not seen it, it is not like a one-to-one for the animated movie. They do keep the story basically the same, but as with a lot of these Disney adaptations, or live-action remakes, they change some things. And for here, they try to make it more relatable or more realistic. It's a story about two dogs falling in love. I don't know how much realistic you can get with that, but they wanted to make it more updated. So there were a lot of changes going with this movie. Like, they changed Lady and Tramp actually from the original. Lady doesn't act really ladylike. She acts more like a modern day person than a what do they say, a refined young woman. They don't have her acting like that in here.
Right, in the animated version, of course, she was sheltered. She didn't know what was going on, and she was really sweet. But as you said, in this one, she
kind of takes care of herself anyway. It's like, well, it's kind of confusing. Since she was pampered, you would think she wouldn't know, but here she seems to know basic things already. And then you got the Tramp, who always had charm in the original, and then here he doesn't really have charm. Like, he still knows his way around the city, but he's a little more, there's no charm. He's like, he's a little bitter.
It looks like they were really focusing on the Tramp part, but they really wanted to focus on the dog being more of a stray.
Right.
And instead of, you said, Tramp was charming and he was funny and he had friends.
Right.
But in this one, yeah, it's not the same character.
Yeah, he wasn't as likable. Now, they did leave parts of his character in here, like him knowing his way around the city. He always outsmarts the dog catcher. He knows tricks, how to get food and things. But they took this part where it's inferred in the original where you knew he was abandoned by his owners. And it's inferred, and that's why you say, when the baby comes in, the dog moves out, and that's pretty much what happened to him. And you can infer that from the original. But in here, they flat out show you a backstory. And I guess they felt like that needed to be fleshed out more, so they actually dedicated like a few minutes to his backstory on why he's like this. And he's instead of more bitter towards humans because he was abandoned by his humans. So his thing is like, don't trust humans whatsoever. Just use them to get food and what you want and nothing more. So they kind of altered the character to be more antagonistic towards humans rather than just playing along with them. Right. It was very strange to see that.
Also, they changed Jacques. It's now Jacqueline.
Yes. No reason why, they just did it. I assume they didn't care for the fact that Lady had two older male dogs as her best friends. She had no lady friends, so...
Okay, this was supposed to be a live-action version of an animated movie, not
right.
live, so
right, that was so weird, but it didn't really affect the story. It just was an odd choice to do. And then with Trusty...
Well, they did in a way because the personality is totally different for this dog.
Yeah, she was more hyper in here.
And it's like she was a fashion model. Because all she does is pose and change outfits.
Yeah.
Which was not the character in the animated movie. So it totally changed it all.
Right. And then Trusty was more stern, professional. They only kept in vaguely where he couldn't smell anything anymore, but it was like a reveal at the end of the movie instead of something he already knew. And he was sort of slow, but he was kind with Miss Lady. And here, he was voiced by, I believe, I think Sam Elliott. And he was more of like, he was a sheriff. He was not comedic at all. He was more stern. He was taken very seriously, and he was very professional. So they changed her friends altogether, and it was just so bizarre seeing. You weren't seeing a comedy aspect, and you weren't seeing just the little trio. It was just so strange to see them just all together. Perhaps they thought that would fit better for the movie now, since the original movie was made back in the 50s.
Right. Now, what Disney usually does in its movies, when there's dogs, there's got to be a dog catcher. There's got to be extreme and lunatic and so forth. And they didn't fail to do that in this movie. In this movie, the dog catcher had too much of a presence.
Yeah.
And too many lines.
Yes. There was never a dog catcher in the original movie. But it seems like whenever they got an animal in these movies, there's always got to be an animal control or a dog catcher or whatever. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's always a whatever. Even when it's never needed, they have it in there because they gotta have that conflict. So in here, he was obsessed with catching Tramp. Never explained why. He was just obsessed. He caught every dog he saw on the street, and all he wanted to catch Tramp the longest. The only thing that was interesting that you had pointed out when we watched the film is that he wasn't cruel.
Right.
He really thought that getting these dogs off the streets was helping the neighborhood or the city. And when the time came to let Tramp go, there wasn't an argument. He just let him go. That was like the only difference. They didn't make him psychotic and just abusive. He was just like, this is what I think protects the city, and that was it.
Right. And Jim, Dear, and Darling in this one were Dear and Darling. And they were smarter in this version because they knew the aunt was a crackpot. Got her out.
Yes, that is one change I actually do like from the movie, because the aunt never really got in trouble or reprimanded for how she treated Lady. And here they figured out she was the reason Lady got out, because they took the baby with them, so there wasn't protecting the baby in this one. It was just the cats causing trouble and blaming it on her. But they figured out, like, Lady wouldn't do this, and they figured out, she did it to get rid of her, and they kicked her out. So that was actually a good change. It's just when the only thing they kind of changed, which I guess was major, is when they had, remember the two Siamese cats with the song?
Yes.
And apparently they had removed the original movie off of Disney Plus because they saw it was an offensive song, so they up and changed the entire cast. So they were two male gray cats scatting and singing jazz instead of the Asian type cats.
So basically, what was Disney trying to do here with this movie? We're not sure. Whatever it is, I'm sure it didn't accomplish it. It was an okay movie. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And I think one thing that really was missing from this movie is the fun aspect.
Yeah.
In the animated one, you love sitting and watching. There was fun, and it was fun and drama and so forth. But you enjoyed it, and you were happy with the happy ending. And in this movie, you just don't get that feeling.
Yeah. I think the one thing they did keep the same was the dog from the pound, though they made the pound seem a little shorter.
Yes.
She was kept exactly the same.
Yes.
The song was the same, with only changing like a few lyrics, the tone, the character, personality. She was kept intact altogether. I'm glad they left that in.
Yes. So if you have seen Lady and the Tramp, the live action version, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't, I'm not sure if it's on Disney Plus still.
Oh, it should be. It's a Disney Plus exclusive.
Well, that's where we saw it. So go there, give it a watch, and let us know what you think in the comments below as well.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and put notification when you get updates on future podcasts and more Paws videos.
Especially ours on the animated version of The Lady and the Tramp.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mouse Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.